Hello teacher, my group is integrated by Cristina Puma, Edison Mendez, and me, Estefani Lechón. In this video, we are going to present the gamification method. So, let's start. Contents, definition, elements, teacher's role, student's role, advantages and disadvantages. Definition. Gamification is the application, is bringing the elements or mechanism of video games into the classroom. A gamified teacher usually by using points system, badges and rewards, challenges, leaderboards, and levels of difficulty to motivate and encourage participation, interaction, and self-learning process in students. Many times, this method is compared with game-based learning and with games. However, this is not just playing games. It is referred the mechanism. It is it is the transferring the mechanism of games to the classroom. As Fine late in 2016 said, gamification is the practice of using games, seeing elements, game mechanics, and game thinking in non-game activities to motivate participants, in this case, students.
Okay, the elements of gamification. It's very important to know that the use of gamification in the classroom is very productive and successful when the students feel that they are in a safe place and the environment is comfortable. Okay, we have 4 elements of gamification, and number 1 is create a classroom leaderboard. Okay, the classroom leaderboard is a resource that help to know the advance or the progress of each student in the classroom. For example, we have the name of the students and the score of the students per class. Okay, at the final of the class, we can see the score of each student, and we can say that some students need feedback or need more activities to understand a subject or a topic of the class. And other students, we need more activities to increase their knowledge about one subject or one topic of the class. The element number 2 is add badge elements to the classroom. Okay, it is very important because, for example, in many games we have a different levels of different badges when the gamer masters skill. We can incorporate into the classroom as well to rewards for their accomplishment and knowledge of the learner, of the student. For example, one student master skill, concept or standard, they can receive a badge and unlock the opportunity to earn the next level in the classroom or in the activity that the student is doing. Okay, the element number 3 is create quiz and game like task. In this element, it's important to know that we can have a blog about gamification without talking about the quiz. Again, that is journey investigation or a quiz can be really fun to students and teachers, and then we can incorporate and bring in the class the games like a task or activities. Oh, sorry. Element number 4 is classic and digital games related with the topic. Okay, it's very important these games, okay, the classic and the digital games. Why the classic? Because, for example, when we use the classic games, for example, the snowman or the handman, we can increase or remember some vocabulary or some specific characteristics about one topic. And if we use, for example, the digital games, we can use platforms that are very useful, and also we can increase the knowledge about something. For example, in this picture, we have a cycle of the plants. Okay, if we have a link of digital games, For example, the cycle of the plants, we can increase the vocabulary and the step by step of the cycle of the plants. And it's the same, for example, if you want the parts of the body, of the parts of the house, or other specific topic. This is very important, and we can say that all elements are very important and useful in the gamification in a classroom. Thank you.
What is the teacher's role in gamification? In gamification classroom, the teacher become the guide to the student. He or she choose the goal, give the rules and instruction, and also design the badges and rewards to the lesson. The teacher also always will control the process and the progress of the students, giving additional instruction if the students need, adding time or even a bonus to the lesson. Now, student role. A student role is more active in the gamification lesson. They need participate all the time, collaborate with their team because they will work in team. And also they become designer and be innovators to find alternative solutions to solve problems. I think that the most important role of this student of the students in the gamification lesson of our classroom, it's that they have free to fail and try until they succeed in the lesson. Now, the materials role. The teacher can have the freedom, sorry, create and adapt the traditional class to a gamification lesson. The materials can be image, actions, symbols, classroom, common classroom things, which promotes the core to the learning experience. And also the materials will be developed at team environment in the classroom.
Hello, teacher. Now I'm going to talk about some negative and positive points of gamification. As we know, gamification is the implementation of game mechanics into the classroom and make them more interactive, practical, interesting for students. So, I'm going to start with the advantages of gamification. There are some that are very interesting, and then I'm going to explain the disadvantages. First, we got that the students increase their motivation inside the classroom because of the rewards. They always want to win, they are very competitive in that aspect, so the reward is a very good way to make them more motivated and interested in the topic that is shown in the class. Then we got increased engagement because of the activities. The activities are more fun, more interactive, and they want to be included in this classroom. Then we got data collection. It is very easy for the teacher to measure and also to look how the students are developing their activities, their performance, and also spot a possible weakness for them so he can correct them. And okay, and that's all the advantages of gamification. It has very interesting points that make gamification a very useful way for the teacher to make the students motivated and make the activities more practical and funny. But we also get disadvantages. As we know, gamification is based on rewards, right? But it can be a very negative point because only the reward is what the students are looking for. If there is no reward in the lesson or in the class, the students are not motivated and they won't show interest in the class, right? Then we got that it is not effective for all contexts of subjects. When we want to use gamification, it has a lot of requirements that need to be checked in order to be applied in a classroom. It cannot be very effective in some subjects. That is why the teacher needs to plan it very well and tell where he can use gamification in order to teach a lesson. And finally, the cost of developing and implementing this method in a classroom. We got that gamification can be only applied through virtual environment, right? So the teacher needs to have a computer. Also, the classroom needs the necessary equipment, like a projector, a very good board when he can project the activities. So it is not for everybody, and it can be applied everywhere. And so gamification at the end has a lot of benefits for students and even for the teacher. It can make more practical and funny classes, but the teacher needs to know how to apply it, when to apply it, and also he needs to have all the equipment necessary for applying gamification. And also there are some negative points that make it not a very bad method, but it can be bad if it is not used in a correct way. So thank you very much. That's all about gamification. Thanks for your time and goodbye.